a little bit of TVZ action here as we continue these best of threes on day one of TSL 9. And we're going to start it off in the bottom left-hand corner with the yellow Terran player from Sidestorm Gaming. It is GuMiho.
In the top rights for Team NV, he is the Purple Zerg DRG. I feel like we can add Notorious DRG or something, but no one's bothered. No one's tried. It's too try-hard of a nickname, I guess. And he's not that notorious either. Maybe if he was more of a bad boy. I can't imagine.
I'm kind of excited that DRG gets CVT to start, because I always feel like sometimes DRG plays like CVP and I'm like, oh, you really don't like CVP or something. Like sometimes it just feels like that matchup really doesn't click for him. But CVT is one where he can be very commanding, very all over the map. But then you're playing against someone like GuMiho who can be so kind of stalwart on his mech builds that then it kind of pushes DRG out of his comfort zone again. So I feel like in that regard, we've got a pretty cool kind of setup at least for this matchup of Zerg versus Terran.
I think, speaking of their heydays, I want to say that people, certainly me, still think of DRG's ZVT. Anyways,
yeah,
so like regardless absolutely. Of his current ZVP or his pat, like it's just like not what you think of. Yes, his GSL victory was over a Protoss, but does anyone really remember Genius? Apparently not.
I remember that series. That was yeah.
That wasn't the best series ever. That was, I mean, I just thought, I know it is important, but I still kind of chuckle every now and again that one of the most mind-blowing things back in, I think that was 2014 or something like that, was that he took 2 gases and then didn't mine from it to go into a fast carrier build, which ended up not mattering, or the reverse, something like that anyway. So it ended up not mattering. He still lost that game. Just remember everyone being like, "Oh my God, he really is a genius." And then he lost the game and lost the entire championship. It's like, okay then, never mind. But anyways, we think of DRG's CVT. I actually think it's still true. And Mutas in particular, which I definitely think were more of a dominating presence back then in both Wings Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. Now they're kind of like an option A, option B. So we'll see what DRG does on Data C.
Yeah, we do actually see a CC first, I believe, right out of GuMiho, so a little bit of taking advantage of the map. A lot of people have been doing this specifically on Data C. It's large, it's unlikely the Zerg's going to roach you on this map, especially game 1 of the series, I feel like, so a lot of Terrans have been taking advantage of that, and that is a very fast 3rd and 4th gas out of GuMiho, my goodness. Wow.
Hells yeah, that is a very good point. What the heck does this go into? Double starport? Like,
that was my immediate thought. I was like, kind of has to be something very heavily starport related. I mean, he's going to factory up the reactor. I mean, it's got to be it's got to be an extra production structure somewhere. I just don't know where. I mean, the starport's not even really hidden, so maybe reveal one, hide the other if you do go double. I even feel like for double starport, though, you don't really need the gases that quick, so I'm kind of mesmerized by what he does indeed commit into here. He's got 2 on each on the natural, 3 on each on the main. And now he's got 3 over each on the natural as well, wow.
He's
already got 400 gas banked!
Yeah, it's got to be battle cruisers. But then I didn't, like, you can do... How much faster is this if you do it this way compared to, honestly, like a regular 3cc build?
Yeah, no, it will hit a bit faster for sure, right? But like, meaningfully faster versus just having a whole bunch of extra economy. And even then, just, I mean, these gases are still so quick. I mean, he's almost got the gas to build the BC already, and I guess the fusion core is only halfway done, and he's already faking cloak. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the crazy part, is like, he's got way more than enough gas. He might even have a mineral issue here.
Right? Because it's not all about the gas when it comes to battle cruisers, man. 400, 300, that's still a hefty chunk of change. That's why That's why
the second starport's in a cool place.
Yeah.
So avoids the overload.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. All right, so, I mean, it actually is going to be double BC. That's amazing. Don't see this one too often.
Instantly starts Yamato. I think that's actually what might be the almost unique part about this, right? Because I think you can go double starport and not have to take the gases that quickly, but I think starting Yamato this quickly might actually be part of the reason why. And then maybe he just wants to see his Yamatos as soon as he teleports across to start overwhelming that little bit extra. Starts the BCs in sync as well, so they're going to attack at the same time. And now it kind of all lines up, but it's definitely been a very weird way of getting here.
As far as perfect on the gas, yeah, maybe not so perfect. But I definitely think you're right that that is one of the reasons. Maybe there are some seriously very minute fine tuning that could happen on such a build. But it, yeah, ultimately comes down to a 2 battle cruiser build with very fast Yamato. Now, for Solar, he's got to be going through the same kind of cycles that we are, because he saw that the 2 gases were insanely fast. So even though he didn't see a second starport, as we had said towards the very beginning, once we saw the 2 gases, it must be double starport, right? So is did I say Solar? DRG thinking the same thing.
You did say Solar, and I was like kind of lost. I was like, did she say Solar, or was there a word that I misunderstood?
To be honest, guys, we're also trying to get an update on TLO's true or false when it comes to that ZDZ that happens. So Solar is definitely on the brain. But no, DRG. So did DRG think of this? He's got a lot of queens already in position. Spores are done, but maybe not enough queens in position because there's 2 Yamatos.
The Yamatos are 100% not usually here, and I think that is the unique part. So in we go. We're going to get rid of 1, 2 queens, now a 3rd, and that's on top of the 2 Yamatos. So kind of working, but we don't kill any drones yet, right? So there's a long way to go. You can see on the picture-in-picture, Hellions trying to find an opening at the same time, but they do not find anything. And I guess it would be nice if we got rid of the Spire that's on the way, but we already start 2nd as DRG, just being very safe about this. And I mean, you got to do so much damage here with these BCs, and the first one's already hurting a lot. The second one will not be far behind. I gotta say, I feel like this wasn't really it at the start.
The biggest trade-off is that 3rd CC is only floating over now, which still isn't not that bad. Yes, it's not an orbital, so that's still not as fast as you might look, but 2 more battle cruisers coming out? I think the snowball might actually still be in effect. The Spire being killed, not canceled, 7 queens dying, 3 overlords. That is actually a lot of money out of DRG's pocket. Yeah. 2 more Yamatos, and 2 more beyond that ready in just 20 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a little bit more convinced now. Roach counterattack killing quite a lot of SCVs. Will teleport the hurt BC back, or the most hurt one back, to go and deal with the Roaches a little bit. As you do drop 1 more Yamato down, the anti-air is gone. We are finally about to get to the Spire, though, so that Spire can get corrupted out, and some of those BCs will not have teleport available, so they will die. So at least we're going to start clearing up some of these BCs. That, alongside the worker damage done, is maybe good enough. There goes this hatchery, though, and I mean, this actually turned into complete and utter chaos. As now the Hellions get to come back across the map, and I actually do think it's going to be serious trouble here for DRG to hold this.
I think so. I think the snowball might have actually worked out. 12 Corruptors will absolutely send those battle cruisers teleporting back, but then what about all of these Hellions? You know, the mass repair is going to go on the battle cruisers, presumably before the Corruptors can get across the map and actually do severe damage. The drones getting pulled to the natural just mean the natural is so overstacked. DRG's got the best split of his life, and then what is there to still kill them? It does actually matter. I actually don't like that he turned them into Hellbats, though. I think that's a mistake from GuMiho.
He could just chase down so many drones there. It's almost never a good idea to move your Hellions into Hellbats in this situation. He 100% could have had so many drones if he just went running after them, but doesn't get them, as now we do have a Viking landed for extra damage, just finding anything possible at this point in time. I love the fact that all but 1 BC are still alive, right? So we've only lost 1 throughout this. I think that was, for me, something that I thought was absolutely going to happen. We're going to lose some of the BCs, and this would be then not as good on the follow-up for GuMiho, but no, he kept those BCs all alive, and yeah, DRG can't get a kill. He's going to tap out, and GuMiho grabs himself game number 1.
How about that? How about that? CC first, 4 gases, about as fast as you can possibly get, and that fits in, as you said, 2 battle cruisers and Yamato. So that is quite deadly. And yeah, the Yamato's not usually with it. So 2 more queens on that main base with all the transfuses they would have had as well. Probably would have been enough to have that first Spire actually finish. Corruptors come out faster. Queens can focus more on the next wave of battle cruisers, perhaps, or just making sure the Hellions don't do any damage. And it just doesn't snowball nearly as much. It doesn't get nearly as chaotic. But yeah, even DRG, with as much scouting as he got, was still probably question marking a little bit what exactly was the plan, what exactly was going to be the execution. Because, you know, Queen's in the right position from the get-go or not can also be a big difference. But it's still snowballed. And that's Spire? I don't know. I wonder if the Spire had actually finished. The first one had finished. Yep. I wonder if it would have stopped snowballing.
I thought he was very smart building the second one so soon, but obviously still losing the first one. You lose, what, like 40 seconds of build time?
Yeah.
Pretty big in that situation. Push those BCs back a little sooner, then you don't really have to deal with the Hellions as much, because the Queens are... Some Roaches maybe are still in position. Yeah, it could be a very different situation for sure, so... Just one thing really led to the other there for GuMiho, who shows up and does very GuMiho things, right? Fun, quirky builds. Even double starport is kind of unique in itself. But it's seen, right? You know, we've seen it before. Spirit cranked out against Cyril at Home Story Cup this last weekend. But he didn't have Yamatos when his BCs hit, right? And again, that's kind of the exciting part. It's just, it's so different. It's another take on it. So, very cool, very funky. And very excited to see what the heck he brings out map 2. Because now we go into Waterfall. So we go from definitely the Zerg map pick, which now GuMiho wins, to the Terran map pick. Waterfall, a short map. I mean, if he doesn't die to Roaches here, usually you're kind of good to go as the Terran.
Right, yeah. And, well, it definitely can't be double battle cruiser. Not just because you don't do that twice in a row, but because I think it's just shorter. Just a handful of units really would have knocked GuMiho for a loop. That build that he did was insanely greedy, and it wasn't even really about the command center first, which usually is gotten away with, funnily enough, as much as people don't do it. But the rest of it, the lack of really a lot of fighting units would have really been screwed by a Roach attack, so that's kind of the first thing to watch out for. But on Waterfall especially, it would be brutal. We'll see what this guy plans to do on such a short map. In the bottom left, it is the Purple Zerg DRG.
In the top right, a map away from moving on to the next round of this winner bracket in TSR 9. Our Psystorm Gaming Yellow Terran is going to be GuMiho.
GuMiho. He's such a fun player to watch. DRG is a fun player to watch, but I think more in the mid game. And then I like a lot of his decision making, and I think he can be very like high octane Zerg. But GuMiho, and just generally the way that the race is designed, of course, always being the first one to really dictate the pace and dictate how wacky things are going to get. It just makes him a very fun player. I'm glad that he made it into TSL 9. There were actually quite a few Korean qualifiers, so I would have put him in as a shoo-in actually with that in mind. But still, a couple guys missing out on the epic fun that is this circus fiesta. Should we start saying that just to be clear? Can we still call it a clown fiesta?
We created an environment for the clown fiesta, I guess.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes, with the circus theme. There you go.
Yeah. Circus. Would you call it a circus or would you call it more carnival? What do you think? No thoughts?
Circus? I think is that officially what we're going with?
I don't know, one or the other. I mean, all the same, I guess.
Isn't it though? Like, what is the difference between a circus and a carnival? Well, I feel like, okay, my personal experience would be that a circus is not, there's not any types of rides, but a carnival, I don't know, always has rides for me.
So I think a circus is like, okay, I do have the official definition. A circus refers to the event by a group of professional entertainers. So like what happens in the big tent, right? Like in terms of like that show, I suppose, where a carnival is apparently a festival held in tribute of particular figures and stuff. And it usually involves amusement rides and stuff. So like a carnival is more like amusement rides, winning toys, candies and stuff.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was going like off of.
Yeah.
And I feel correct. So there's no amusement park rides. It would be awesome if they could fit one in to the TeamLiquid facility.
I was gonna say, look, if I get to Utrecht and there ain't a big wheel, I'm out. That's all I'm saying. Ooh,
yes. Slightly faster speed coming out here. DRG actually delaying his third hatch. I mean, kind of even a decent bit, but it didn't really result in very much. The Reaper died. The Hellions popped out. Boom, there you go.
Boom, there you go.
That's it. That's the update.
Yeah. I was also wondering, we've got all these gummy bears and stuff in the TSL overlays. Like, I really do hope we've got a good supply of gummy bears when we get to the offline part.
Yeah, and donuts apparently.
And donuts, yeah.
Yeah, but like Simpson donuts. I swear,
Yeah.
unless it's Simpson themed, I've never seen like an actual pink donut with like sparkly like sprinkles.
you
Hey, these
really
four
not?
Hellions are about to win this game, aren't they?
Yeah, they're gonna make a very good job of it. 8 drones, 9. Go on, just go kill the rest of them, guys. Go on. Oh no, the misclick. Okay, fine.
So that was
Okay.
DRG just
Bad.
hoping that his queen presence would be enough. But he really doesn't have that many queens. So GuMiho is right on the money to go diving for that, seeing really no body blocking and seeing no lings. He always going to test a little bit, so there's a little bit of hesitation. But once he confirmed it, just dove right in, got a lot of drones.
Okay, I have a genuine question. You say you haven't seen like pink sprinkle donuts that on Simpsons theme, but do you mean like, because like I see pink sprinkle donuts all the time. But I'm genuinely curious now because I see them all the time. But do you think that's because of the Simpsons? But like they're not themed by Simpsons. That's how they present donuts here.
Maybe. I feel like I guess I'm not really a donut connoisseur, and I've never gotten just a plain. Well, it's not even plain. You know, like a iced donut
like
with
ice
sprinkles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I'm not paying attention, but I feel like it really doesn't exist all that often, or doesn't get sold all that often.
I see a lot of like either white icing or pink icing with sprinkles, but not any other colors. I'm genuinely curious. I'm gonna have to do some donut research. Okay, we can go back to ZVT. I'll find this out later.
Yeah, right? Okay, we'll figure it out later. Everyone in chat's gonna be like, Zombie Group's crazy. I'm like, that's fair. My favorite donut is actually probably double chocolate. Or just like non-glazed chocolate, which is weird. I don't actually like chocolate otherwise. But when it comes to donuts, that is my preferred go-to.
I see. I found a lot of fancy donuts lately. They do a lot of good vegan donuts in the UK, actually.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, I was thinking that there's a place called Voodoo Donuts. It's like mostly Denver-based. And we can talk more about that after we discuss this game, because you do have roaches and lings on the way. There's something really important happening. And DRG is going for an all-in on one of the shortest maps in the map pool. GuMiho does not have a lot against this. Raven, 1 auto turret, not going to help too much. No Banshees. A tank, though, is halfway done.
Yeah, he missed it, though, because he ran off to the left-hand side with those units, and now they're spreading across the map. Raises a depot. I feel like he's not really going to be prepped by this. He's clearing out creep. Like, this is just a friendly little game still. Oh, man. The fact he just completely missed this is so sad. He does have a lot of Marines, mind you. So the Marines could actually make a bit of a hold, especially if these Ravagers aren't going to bust down the front straight away. Hellion's going to start dealing with a lot of the Lings. The Raven could probably go forward and help against the Ravagers. I actually think GuMiho is going to be okay here. The tank there is going to start getting piled down, but that does take the attention of the Ravagers at least for a while. And yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a chase down. And I think GuMiho is going to push the scariest part of it back.
Yeah. I mean, GuMiho actually had a decent amount of production before he even took this third base. So I don't think that DRG was really prepared for that. I think one of the first times he really got any indication that it was more of a 2-base emphasis was when he walked up that ramp and saw the amount of Marines, but then also saw that it was only 1 engineering bay. So, up until that, checking out his scouting, I'm not sure that he saw that it wasn't a 3rd CC build. So, kind of basically a bit of a counter. I think if your supply depot's down and the Lings get in and surround the Marines in the tank, I think this still could have worked for DRG. But GuMiho, whether he really figured this was going to be dedicated or not, was super calm. He took that as if it was no big deal.
Yeah. He really dealt with it very well. And the lead he gets from here is huge. I mean, you're playing Marine Medevac with all of your upgrades already, an upgrade lead in 1-1 as well, and you can put so much pressure against what, like Roach Ravager? Here's not a good defensive army from DRG, especially when he's got to rebuild the Roach count from 0 apart from these 3 Ravagers. This feels like GuMiho's going to have a ton of potential. I mean, it really feels like Medevac should get across the map as a dropper already and start just punishing the fact that this is going to be Roaches and Ravagers as the main defense. And they are very slow at this stage. Roach speed isn't going to be done. We have a single Evo finished, and in fact, there is already 2 Medevacs over here, so GuMiho absolutely thinking the same way I am. Just, let's get aggressive, let's get into this. And yeah, he's going to start just trying to apply some pressure, and right now, this is not enough Roaches to fight this. The Roaches go down the power of that +1 on these Marines, kills a couple OVs as well, and I mean, that's DRG supply blocked on top of everything else. Now we get rid of the Ravagers. Down.
Boom. GuMiho is... The first game was such a bop. Alright, but the second game could have been more interesting, except it feels like DRG just chose all the wrong things. All right, like
Yeah.
just a little bit unfortunate, perhaps unlucky. You could argue, but then you could also easily argue should have been on more scouting. Should have maybe even honestly expected more of a 2-based emphasis on a short map. Which, in that case, had he actually predicted this, he could have gone Roaches defensively, and I think that would have worked out perhaps very well.